5 dark nights of the soul, only chosen ones survive, and 5 signs you will too. Have you ever felt like everything you once knew, your dreams, your passions, even your sense of self, was suddenly stripped away, leaving you naked before a universe that seemed utterly indifferent to your suffering? If so, you might be standing at the threshold of something extraordinary. Today we are diving into the terrifying and beautiful territory of the dark night of the soul. Not once, but 5 times the 5 dark nights only the truly chosen ones survive. And more importantly, we will uncover the 5 signs that prove you are among those destined not just to endure, but to rise. The dark night of the soul is not a metaphor. It is not a phase of sadness or a rough patch you can fix with a few affirmations. It is death, the death of everything you thought you were. It is the sacred dismantling of all illusions, the ruthless tearing away of all false identities. It is the moment when life stops asking politely and starts dragging you toward your true self with bloody, unstoppable hands. And it begins like a whisper you can't quite hear but can't ignore, either a tug in your chest, a hollow ache that no success or relationship can fill. You know something is wrong, but you cannot name it. You know something is ending, but you cannot see what lies beyond.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
The first dark night is the night of loss. This is when everything you have built, your career, your relationships, your reputation, begins to crumble. It feels like betrayal by life itself. But what if I told you that this loss is not punishment? It is precision surgery. The universe is removing everything that no longer serves your soul's evolution. And yet, we resist, we cling, we scream, we beg for things to stay the same. But chosen ones, those rare few, have the courage to let go, even when every cell in their body wants to hold on. They understand, at some deep instinctive level, that what is being taken from them is not who they truly are. It is only the costume they wore to survive a life too small for their true self. Do you feel like you are losing everything? Then let me ask you, what if you are not losing your life, but finally being stripped down to the raw, indestructible truth of who you really are? The second dark night is the night of isolation. This is when the people you thought would stand by you vanish. Friends drift away. Family members judge you. Lovers turn cold. You sit alone, night after night, wondering if you are going insane. But isolation is not abandonment. It is initiation. The universe removes the voices of others so you can finally hear your own. Silence is the crucible where your true voice is forged. It is in the unbearable stillness that you come face to face with your fears, your doubts, your anger, and your deepest power. If you are walking through this night right now, remember, loneliness is not the absence of love. It is the stripping away of counterfeit connections so that real, shoddy relationships can find you later. Are you willing to be alone long enough to become someone worth finding? The third dark night is the night of meaninglessness. This is perhaps the most devastating. It is the moment when nothing makes sense anymore. Your old ambitions feel hollow. Your beliefs feel like lies. The dreams that once lit your heart on fire now seem childish, pointless. You stand in the ruins of your former life, and every direction looks equally empty. This is the void, and it is terrifying. But it is also sacred. Because only when all false meanings are burned away can the true purpose of your soul emerge. Meaninglessness is not the end. It is the clearing of the stage before the real play begins. In this night, you are asked a question that echoes through your entire being. If nothing outside of you can give your life meaning, what will you choose to live for? The fourth dark night is the night of madness. Yes, madness. The chosen ones must walk through a phase where reality itself bends, twists, and sometimes shatters. You may question your sanity. You may see visions, hear voices, experience moments where you are not sure what is real. But this is not mental illness, it is spiritual expansion. Your mind, conditioned to see only the surface of reality, is being forcibly opened to the deeper, multidimensional nature of existence. You are glimpsing the machinery of the cosmos, the hidden currents that shape everything. It feels like madness because it is the death of the small mind, the ego mind, the mind that believes it can control or even comprehend infinity. The key here is trust. Trust that you are not breaking, you are breaking open. Trust that the visions are not hallucinations but revelations. Trust that your mind is not your master, but a tool, a servant of the deeper intelligence awakening within you. The fifth and final dark night is the night of surrender. After loss, isolation, meaninglessness, and madness, there comes a moment when you simply let go. You stop fighting. You stop trying to fix, understand, or control anything. You fall to your knees, metaphorically or literally, and whisper, "I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what life wants from me, but I am willing to be remade." And in that moment of total surrender, the miracle happens. The light returns, not the blinding, artificial light of egoic success, but the soft, fierce, eternal light of your soul. You realize that you were never abandoned. You were never broken. You were being forged. You were being initiated into a deeper, truer way of living. And here is where the 5 signs that you will survive and thrive begin to emerge. But to see them clearly, we must first understand the secret codes of the soul's survival strategy. We must learn to recognize the hidden markers of resilience, transformation, and divine destiny. Are you ready to see the signs written into your very being? The soul's secret armor, 5 hidden signs you are destined to rise. Now that we have walked through the 5 dark nights, it's time to search for the hidden map etched into your soul, the 5 secret signs that you are not only surviving, but being prepared to rise higher than you have ever dreamed. These signs are subtle, easily dismissed if you are not paying attention. But once you know how to recognize them, you will see that you are already far stronger, far closer to your destiny than you realized. The first sign is a strange and unexplainable inner calm during chaos. Even as your world collapses, even as betrayal, loss, and confusion swirl around you, there is a small, steady voice inside that whispers, "This is not the end." You may still cry, you may still scream, but somewhere deep within, you know you are being led, not destroyed. This knowing is not logical. It defies evidence and reason. It is a soul memory, the echo of countless lifetimes where you have fallen and risen again and again. You have been tempered in fires fiercer than this one, and your soul remembers. Have you felt it? That stillness that blooms inside the storm. If you have, even for a fleeting moment, it is proof You are not here to be broken. You are here to be reborn. The second sign is the awakening of compassion. True compassion is not pity. It is not feeling sorry for others, but it is the deep, visceral understanding that everyone is fighting battles you cannot see. That after your own dark nights, you look at the world differently. You no longer judge as quickly. You no longer dismiss suffering you do not understand. Your heart, once shielded and armored, begins to open again, but this time it is the compassion of a warrior, not a victim. You can love without losing yourself. You can serve without becoming enslaved. And here is the paradox. The more broken you have been, the more deeply you can love. The more pain you have endured, the more healing you can offer. Your wounds do not make you weak. They make you medicine. The third sign is a magnetic pull toward authenticity. You can no longer tolerate the fake, the shallow, the performative. You crave realness in every part of your life, real conversations, real connections, real work that lights up your soul. The masks you once wore feel suffocating. The roles you once played feel meaningless. You would rather stand alone in your truth than be celebrated for a lie. This craving for authenticity is not a phase. It is your soul reclaiming its original blueprint. It is your inner being demanding to be expressed fully, fiercely, unapologetically. And the cost of betraying yourself has become too high. You would rather lose everything than lose yourself again. I must ask you now, what parts of your life feel forced, fake, brittle? Where are you still wearing masks to be accepted? And are you willing to set them down, even if it means walking a lonelier road for a while? The fourth sign is an increased sensitivity to energy. After surviving the dark nights, you no longer experience the world only through your five senses. You can feel the energy in a room before anyone speaks. You can sense when someone is lying, even if they say all the right words. You can tune into the hidden currents beneath events, conversations, even news stories. This sensitivity can feel overwhelming at first. Crowds may drain you. Surface-level interactions may exhaust you. But with time, you learn to use this sensitivity as a guide, a compass pointing you toward what is real, what is nourishing, what is aligned. You are not becoming weaker. You are becoming more finely tuned. You are evolving into someone who navigates the world with intuition, as sharp as a blade. The fifth sign is the most beautiful and the most terrifying, a calling that refuses to be silenced. Somewhere amid the wreckage of your old life, a new desire begins to stir. It is not a desire born of ego or ambition. It is a soulful calling, a mission you sense you were born for, even if you cannot yet name it. It haunts your dreams. It whispers in your quiet moments. It pulls at your heart with invisible hands. You might doubt yourself. You might wonder if you are crazy. How could someone as broken, as lost, as imperfect as you possibly be called to something great? But the very fact that you hear the call is proof that you are ready. Not ready in the sense of being perfect, but ready in the sense of being willing. Willing to risk, willing to trust, willing to rise, even if you rise trembling. And here is the secret the darkness taught you. Greatness was never about being fearless. It was about acting despite fear. It was about loving despite heartbreak. It was about creating despite uncertainty. You are not who you were before the dark nights. You are something new, something holy, something untouchable. You are a chosen one. And now, your real journey begins. But to walk this path fully, you must understand the final alchemy. You must learn how to turn the ashes of your old self into the foundation of your new life. You must learn how to wield the wisdom, the wounds, and the wonder you have earned. Are you ready to see what happens after survival? After the dark night? Because surviving was never the goal. Thriving was. The silent resurrection, becoming the force that cannot be broken. There comes a moment after the dark nights when something extraordinary happens, something so subtle that if you are not paying attention, you might miss it. It is not an explosion. It is not a grand announcement. It is a quiet, almost imperceptible shift deep within your being. The moment when you realize you are no longer merely surviving, you are resurrecting. That you are not the person you were before, and you are not merely a wounded soul trying to heal. You are becoming something entirely new, a force that cannot be broken. When everything is stripped away, your identity, your dreams, your beliefs, you are left with the one thing that is real, your essence. And from that essence, a new life begins to grow, not because you forced it, but because it is inevitable. You begin to notice small things first, and a deeper patience with yourself. A sudden moment of laughter, pure and free, that bubbles up from nowhere. A strange gratitude for the very pain that once brought you to your knees. You start to see beauty in places you never looked before, in the cracks of broken sidewalks, in the tired eyes of strangers, in the quiet spaces between heartbeats. Life is no longer something happening to you. Life is something you are weaving, moment by sacred moment. But the power you carry now is different from the power you once chased. It is not loud. It is not flashy. It does not seek validation. True power does not need to announce itself. It simply is. It radiates from your presence. It shifts rooms without a word. It touches others without trying. You realize that your very being has become medicine for a world that has forgotten how to feel, how to heal, how to be real. And you did not earn this power by pretending to be strong. You earned it by being willing to be broken, to be lost, to be remade. There is a sacred irony here. In the beginning, you thought the dark nights were killing you. But now you see they were making you indestructible. Not in the sense that you will never feel pain again, you will. Not in the sense that you will never doubt again, you will. But now, pain and doubt no longer have the power to define you. They are simply weather passing through the vast sky of your consciousness. You are the sky, not the storm. As you walk forward, you begin to attract different experiences, different people, different opportunities. Not because you are chasing them, but because you have changed your resonance. You are no longer vibrating at the frequency of fear or desperation or scarcity. You are vibrating at the frequency of truth, and truth recognizes itself. It calls to it the people and circumstances that match its frequency. You are no longer a seeker, you are a lighthouse. You are no longer begging the universe to give you a life worth living. You are creating it with every breath you take. But with this silent resurrection comes a sacred responsibility. You can no longer pretend you do not know who you are. You can no longer hide behind excuses or wait for permission. The world you once tried to fit into will feel too small, too shallow, too hollow for you now. You are not here to fit in. You are here to remake the world in the image of your highest truth. And that truth will not always be popular. It will not always be easy. Sometimes it will cost you dearly. But you will not betray it, because to betray your truth now would be to betray everything you suffered for, everything you survived for. I want you to ask yourself something few dare to ask at the deepest level. What if everything you went through, the heartbreaks, the betrayals, the failures, was not meant to destroy you, but to sculpt you into the exact person the future needs? What if you were not behind schedule, not broken, not lost, but exactly on time, exactly as you were meant to be? You see, chosen ones are not chosen because they are better than others. They are chosen because they have agreed, whether they remember it or not, to walk through fire, to lose everything false, and to find something real enough to carry back to a world starving for authenticity. You are a bridge between worlds, the world of illusion and the world of truth. And every step you take in your authenticity lays down a path for others to follow. The silent resurrection is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. It is about reclaiming the parts of yourself you buried to survive, the dreams you abandoned to be accepted, the voice you silenced to avoid judgment. It is about standing naked before the universe and saying, "Here I am." No masks, no armor, just me. And in that moment, you do not become weaker. You become invincible. The path ahead will still have challenges. Darkness will still visit. But now you know, darkness is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your ally, your forge. You will not run from it anymore. You will walk into it with open eyes and an open heart, knowing that every descent is simply another step toward a deeper, vaster light. You have survived the dark nights of the soul. You have found the signs hidden in your pain. You have risen from your own ashes. And now you are ready for the final revelation, the ultimate gift that the darkness has prepared for you, the destiny that only those who have truly died to themselves can fulfill. Are you ready to see why you were called to this path all along? The destiny of the chosen, living as a beacon in a sleeping world. When you survive the dark nights of the soul, when you rise again from the ashes of everything you once thought you were, you are handed something most people never even glimpse, and a destiny. Not a destiny written by society, by family, or by the world around you. A destiny whispered by the very fabric of the universe, etched into the core of your being before you even took your first breath. It is the quiet but undeniable realization that you are here for more, not in the sense of fame or fortune, but in the sense of impact, of light, of truth. You are no longer just living for yourself. You are living as a beacon for those still trapped in their own dark nights, those who have not yet found the way through. Your life becomes a living transmission, a silent message that says, it's possible. You can survive, you can find your way home, and you do not need to preach or persuade or convince. Your very being speaks louder than any words ever could. Your authenticity, your scars, your presence, they are the proof. But living as a beacon is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about showing up real and raw and open, even when you are still healing, even when you are still figuring it out. It is about being a reminder that awakening is messy, painful, non-linear, and that it is still worth it. You become a mirror in which others can see their own hidden strength, their own forgotten divinity. There will be days when you feel the weight of this path, days when you wish you could go back to sleep, back to simpler illusions. But you will know, deep in your bones, that you cannot. Once you have seen the truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you have tasted freedom, you cannot chain yourself again. And so you walk forward, not because it is easy, but because it is who you are now. You will notice that the more you align with this destiny, the less you need to force anything. Opportunities that felt impossible before will flow to you. Connections that are so deep will find their way into your life. Your intuition will sharpen until it feels as though you are being guided by an invisible hand, steering you through the labyrinth of life with uncanny precision. You will still face challenges, but you will meet them differently, not with panic, but with a deep, grounded certainty that somehow, somewhere you will find your way through. And as you live from this place, you become a living paradox, deeply grounded in the earth, yet expanded beyond the stars. Fierce in your truth, yet endlessly compassionate, incapable of immense action, yet rooted in profound stillness. You become the walking embodiment of the sacred balance that the world has forgotten, the balance of being fully human and fully divine. I want to ask you something now, something only your soul can answer. What would your life look like if you stopped waiting for permission to be who you already are? What would change if you fully trusted the destiny that has been calling you all along, whispering through your darkest nights, singing through your deepest wounds? Because you are needed. Not as a savior, not as a guru, but as a living, breathing example of what is possible when a human being chooses to walk through fire and come out transformed. You are needed as a reminder that light and darkness are not enemies but partners, dancing together in the endless unfolding of creation. You are a chosen one, not because you are better than anyone else, but because you are willing to be broken open, that willing to lose everything false so that something true could be born. And now, the world is waiting for you to step fully into who you have always been destined to become. This is your time. This is your calling. This is your life. Walk it with your head high, your heart open, and your soul blazing.